That brings us over to the X Division, where we start with the X Division title match at Bound for Glory, which is Senshi versus Chris Sabin. Jim Cornette announces that at the press conference at one point. That will be our X Division title match at Bound for Glory off the back of the jackass nonsense.
Jim Cornette fucks with Senshi?
He likes Senshi?
Do you think he likes him?
No.
Oh, they had a feud in ROH. I forgot.
Was it based around the fact that I don't like you?
Cornette did fire him.
Well...
It was the impetus of the Cornette Homicide feud during the CZW ROH thing, where during Cage of Death, they're like, I need Homicide. The only way ROH is going to beat these fucking monsters in this fucking Cage of Death is if we can get Homicide on the team. And he had to, make... I forgot if it was 2 or 3, promises that he had to fulfill for Homicide in order to do it, and Homicide wouldn't tell him what they were until he won. Homicide comes in and gets one of the greatest reactions in wrestling history, wins the Cage of Death for ROH. First thing he asks, he's like, I want my ROH title shot. Second thing he asks is he wants Steve Corino to be back in ROH so he can beat the fuck out of him. And then the third thing he asks is to reinstate Loki. And Cornette's like, fuck that. And then Adam Pearce attacks Homicide and they start with that feud.
I love Cornette's like, that's the bridge too far. You can have Steve Corino, you can have your title shot, you can't fucking have Loki.
Yeah, because I think the thing was Loki beat the shit out of fucking Cornette. So Cornette fired him.
Cornette probably deserved it.
But one day, if we can get it all combined, we should do the ROH CZW feud.
That'd be a good Patreon show.
Yeah. I'm sure it's pretty easy to all track down at this point. Actually, I think there's a fucking IVP video thing that documents it all. So
like a comp tape?
Yeah.
On that same episode, Chris Sabin, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt defeated Alex Shelley, Johnny Devine, and Senshi.
Yeah, there was just a bunch of 6-man tags for this build.
It was just stuff on TV. There's not real build to this, really. The crowd did chant "No more jackass" at the start of this match. This is the match that had the Christian and Rhino stuff on commentary where they brawled. A large briefcase was thrown into the ring as the crowd booed. Devine swings and misses with it. Lethal hits a missile dropkick. Sabin pins him. The crowd booed this too.
They've turned the crowd on the X Division.
The entire concept of the X Division, the crowd has turned on. October 12th Impact, we have another 6-man tag. This is an 8-man tag. It's Chris Sabin, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and Shark Boy defeating Senshi, Johnny Devine, Alex Shelley, and Petey Williams.
Sorry, I got distracted. What happened?
With 8-man tag, X Division.
Oh, yeah, keep talking. I'm going to go back to watching Tony Khan's stunner. Fucking, what's his name? Sean Spears.
Sure. Jerry Lynn, backstage, lectures the babyface team about their jackass antics. Sabin tells Old Man Lynn to come to the ring and see what the X Division is all about. This is the 7th segment on this show, and this is finally the first match. There is a bunch of stuff on this show before we finally got to a match, because this is Vince Russo television, baby. And the match does not matter. Jerry Lynn immediately appears at the ramp. Tenay mentions we will hear from Nash after the match, but we'll talk about that when we're talking about the Nash stuff. Tenay does dedicate this episode of Impact to Antonio Pena, who passed away during this month.
Goddamn.
Dutt drops Divine with a Poison Rana, which felt novel in 2006.
Yeah, that was when that was still crazy.
To actually see a Poison Rana on TV. Sabin pins Shelley with the La Magistral as Lynn applauds from the ramp. And
antics proven right.
Jerry Lynn, old man, wrong. The October 19th Go Home show. JB is with Dutt and Lethal. They're playing video games and wearing a bald cap.
Warrior.
Sanjay wouldn't have to wear a bald cap for very long after this. They're doing Senshi training. Warrior. Lynn walks in. He's looking for Sabin. Lethal and Dutt do Senshi voices as they play Mortal Kombat. Watch my block. This is how I block, is how they say this. Is what they were saying about playing this video game.
I thought you were saying, how do I block?
Oh, that makes sense.
Which I'm like, walk back.
They are Mortal Kombat noobs.
But they're having a good time. That's why you should also buy Mortal Kombat.
Armageddon. Yes. Which I assume is very easy to buy in 2025.
Let me find out.
It might just be on the Xbox store. Sometimes it is. That doesn't feel like a game that's on Steam, though. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Senshi then had a match with Jay Lethal. Wins straight away with the Warriors way. Doesn't matter. Senshi jumps Lethal after the match. Save makes the save. Senshi gets the better of him. Hits the Warriors way too. Doesn't matter.
Warrior.
They didn't do great Senshi impressions. He's a really easy guy to do an impression of, and they didn't do a great impression of him.
I found a ROM for it.
Well, yes. Oh, no, jail.
It might be in one of the collections, which you can get on Steam.
Warrior.
It is also $108 on Amazon.
Good God. Actually, how much is it to buy secondhand here?
but $54 on World of Books.
Ooh, why does World of Books have Mortal Kombat Armageddon?
I don't know, man. eBay $40.
All right, you can get it for €30 here on the PS2, or 12 if you want to buy it on the Wii.
I don't.
If you want to play it on the Wii, $12. You're paying nearly three
Nope.
times the price to pay it on PS2, Liam. You can play it on the Wii.
$75 on the Wii here.
Well, our Wii version is very common then.
Should buy it, then travel here and sell it for an up price.
Yes, that's how I will fund it. Yes. They do have one in stock in 2 different shops in Cork. I could buy 2 copies.
There you go. Get Senshi to sign it.
Illicit international Mortal Kombat Armageddon trading. Bound for Glory. We get an ad for Mortal Kombat that is just a video package of Senshi highlights spliced together with Mortal Kombat Armageddon highlights.
It's fucking awesome.
Maybe the coolest thing on this month's shows.
Yeah, by far.
And then X Division title is on the line as Chris Sabin defeats Senshi to win the title in his hometown of Detroit. Or well, he's from Hell, which is close to Detroit, I think. But
I know what you meant, but he's from Hell is just...
Chris Sabin is from Hell.
He is. Yes. Yes.
I did appreciate like a return era Chris Sabin starting to do a big lariat and calling it the clothesline from Hell, Michigan.
That is a good pun. He strikes me as a man who loves a good pun.
He does seem to. Sabin misses the TNA kick, and then Senshi hits a TNA kick in the most meta thing that could possibly happen in a TNA match.
Mm-hmm.
Senshi gets the heat. Sabin turns the tide with a missile dropkick. Senshi rolls through on a Frankensteiner into a double stomp for 2. Senshi kicks out of the cradle shock. Sabin gets his foot in the rope after Senshi hits the Warrior's Way. Sabin reverses the Dragon Sleeper into a cradle to win the title. Lethal and Dot celebrate as Lynn applauds too.
And, frickin' Vince Russo proved me wrong.
Yeah, he booked a straight up X Division title match.
And I was like, this is gonna be some bullshit.
They got 13 minutes too, so it wasn't even that short.
I was incorrect.
And a pretty good
In
match.
my assumptions.
Crowd was like into it. Sabin, his hometown boy, winning the belt in Detroit.
In Hell.
They should have run a show in Hell. Just for Sabin.